Hello there, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Here are all the updates related to global coronavirus pandemic. Across the world now, the cases of coronavirus worldwide is more than 5 million and the death toll due to COVID-19 is more than 3,29,000. The WHO said that it reported the maximum number of cases in one single day yesterday. So more than 1,06,000 cases of new infections were reported worldwide in 24 hours, and majority of these cases, that is 2/3 of these cases, have been reported from only 4 nations, namely US, Russia, Brazil and India. And US yesterday reported more than 23,000 cases of coronavirus in one single day. In total, the US has more than 1.5 million cases of coronavirus and more than 94,000 deaths have been reported in the US due to COVID-19. Now, despite those numbers, the US economy has started to reopen. So all of the 50 US states have now partially reopened. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump yesterday once again hit out at China over its handling of the coronavirus outbreak, saying that they could have stopped the plague, but they did not. He also hit out at Chinese President Xi Jinping, though he did not name him, but he said that it all comes from the top. Now news from Latin America, news from Brazil. So Brazil yesterday reported the biggest spike in the number of cases ever since the outbreak began. It reported more than 20,000 cases in one single day, and that has taken Brazil's total number of cases to more than 2,93,000. And that means that Brazil has overtaken Spain now, and it has become the country with the third highest number of cases in the world, following US and Russia. And with the high number of cases being reported from Brazil, the authorities there have authorized 2 anti-malarial drugs that are now going to be used to treat COVID-19 patients. And now news from Peru. So Peru yesterday reported 4,500 new cases in one single day, and that has taken Peru's total number of cases past the 1 lakh mark. And now news from Bolivia. So Bolivian health minister has been arrested for alleged corruption involving the purchase of ventilators. So the health minister was arrested yesterday for a scandal involving the purchase of 170 ventilators at an inflated cost. And now news from Asia. First up, news from Pakistan. The death toll due to COVID-19 in Pakistan has now crossed the 1,000 mark. The country has about 48,000 cases of coronavirus, but it has started to ease some of the lockdown restrictions in several phases. And now news from South Korea. So more than 200 cases of coronavirus have been identified in South Korea that are linked to a nightclub cluster. So a nightclub cluster was identified in South Korea on 9th of May, and this nightclub cluster has been linked to the district of Itaewon. And since the first cases were identified, the authorities have carried out tests. They have tested tens of thousands of people, and out of these at least 200 people have tested positive for coronavirus, which is a cause of concern for the authorities because South Korea is fearing a second wave of infection. And now news from Japan. So Japan has eased some of the lockdown restrictions. Last week it lifted state of emergency from some of the prefectures, and this is because the number of cases reported from Japan are decreasing every day. And also now today Japan is going to lift the state of emergency from Osaka, Kyoto and few other prefectures. However, in Tokyo and 4 other prefectures, the state of emergency remains because these regions still continue to report high number of coronavirus cases. And now news from Russia. So Russia has been reporting less number of cases recently. In fact, it reported the lowest rise in the number of cases yesterday since the month of early May. And that are giving the signs that probably the outbreak is stabilizing in Russia. Of course, Russia has the second highest number of cases in the world after the US. It has more than 3 lakh cases of coronavirus. But since the numbers are decreasing, there are signs that the outbreak is stabilizing in Russia. And our news from other parts of the globe. First up, news from South Africa. So South Africa yesterday reported its first neonatal coronavirus death. So this 2-day-old baby was born prematurely, and he was having lung difficulties, and he had to be put on a ventilator support. As soon as he was born, he tested positive for coronavirus, and he died 2 days after birth. And now news from France. In France, more than 100 infections have been reported from a slaughterhouse in western France. Now, this is not the first case where meat plants have reported cases of coronavirus in other countries of the world as well, including the US, Germany, Brazil, and Spain. These sort of cases have been reported from meat houses, slaughterhouses, where people tend to work in close proximity. And now news from Mexico. Mexico yesterday reported its highest number of deaths in one single day due to COVID-19. 424 fatalities were reported in one single day in Mexico. And in total, the country has more than 6,000 deaths due to COVID-19. The cases of coronavirus in Mexico are more than 56,000. And now news on WTO. Well, the WTO has said that international imports and exports have fallen to their lowest level in at least 4 years due to the coronavirus pandemic. So those were all the updates related to COVID-19 pandemic from across the world. Thanks for watching.